Good morning, guys. Today is April 5th, 2017, and we are back today. Yesterday was a was a little choppy day. We had a red day. I closed red on the day while I was recording, but then DFFN was one of the trades that came along, and I took it, and I managed to close the day green. I think I closed after all the fees and stuff. I was up about $7, but that's okay because that's my first green day after about I think 7 or 8 losing days straight. So I was very happy that I was able to close the day green. Today we do have some good setups or some good things that are looking strong pre-market. The first one we have is NEOT. NEOT has a float of 6.36 million, so this is our lowest float stock right now on the watch list, and it did have a press release out about one of their here, I'll just read it off the Yahoo Finance here. They announced the issuance of some. It's a healthcare company, so I'm not sure exactly what most of this means, but it's something to do with their patent. So obviously it's a good news, as you guys can see, because pre-market is just basically ripping. I really don't want this to break 250 pre-market though, just because I think it'll be a good break if it does break 250 once the market's open. I would love to see the break of 250 and then a push towards, basically it gives it open room until 3, or even higher than that. Actually, basically there's free room to run all the way up to the 5. So this does have potential, with the catalyst, with the low float. I really think this could run, but we don't want to just jump in. Obviously, if it breaks 250 as it's curling up here, and it manages to break 250 on good volume, could potentially run up to, maybe even the 3s. That would be the back of the mind target, but we'll see what happens on that. I'm just keeping it. I don't want to just jump into something. Maybe we'll look for a confirmation of the break of 250 and then get in on a bounce, on a dip. But I might not just jump in right away, just because it could get rejected at 250, since this already has moved a lot pre-market, basically from the 180s up to the 250s, and the stock doesn't usually move as much once the during market hours. Most of the days, even with high volume, it only moves about $1, nothing more than that. Over here there's a volume of 2 points a million, and it went from 115 to 150, so not even 50 cents. So that's something we want to keep in mind. The next one we have is MRNS. MRNS has a float of 15.6 million. They did have a press release out regarding an agreement with another company. And what I do like about this stock is the daily setup. It had a push here, 3 million shares went from 150s to the 180s, pulled back on low volume, and then today it's the first candle to make a high. If it does, the high of pre-market is 196. If it does get back up there and then breaks 2, it does open up room towards the 250s basically. So that's what we're watching on MRNS, with the press release, a lower float stock, and then a daily setup. So I think this is something that could have potential today. And then the one that everybody's talking about is INNL. INNL yesterday took off just before the market closed. So a lot of people use this as a swing trade. Bought it before the market closed, and then after hours it was basically all the way in the 3s. So a huge potential after hours, but right now, pre-market, it's just basically dropping. There's no bottom on this stock right now. It's just continuously just going down. As you guys can see, basically it's just forming some sort of a trend line, and it's just continuously dropping. So I feel like this stock, once the market open, it might be too heavy. The volume is already at 1.38 million, so it's already traded a lot in volume, and I just feel like this might not have the potential that I think it will, that I think it would have had if it was still kind of below 2, and then we could have got in on the break of 2 once the market opened, and then look for this move. But since that move has already happened, a point moved, and then it's basically retracing most of that gain, I don't know if this is something we want to jump in right away, or even be able to trade today. It might just go all the way down. It might just be a red trade, or it might look we might look for a red to green move on this. That's what's been happening with a lot of stocks. Stocks gap up, they put once the market open, they start selling off, and then they start curling around, and then they rip. So we'll keep an eye on it for that. Sorry, my throat's just really bad right now, so I'm just getting over this cold. And then NAKD is one we just kind of have it on the back burner, just because 255 on NAKD is a triple top now. It tapped 250, or this is 254 I guess, but these 255, 255, and then 254 there, so just about a triple top. So we're basically looking for the break of that 255. If it breaks, it could open up room to back to the 270s, 280s, maybe even 3s, if it starts picking up volume and stuff. So those are basically our pre-market watch. Markets are gonna open in about 4 minutes or so, guys. So I'm just gonna go and get my screen set up, make sure I have the stocks that I'm watching up there, and then the rest, we'll take it as they go. Right now, guys, my account is over 1,000. Obviously through losses, and actually the monthly fees just came out. So we'll just be making sure this is something we can add back to and grow our account again. So I will be back once the market's open, guys. Alright, guys, I just got into NEOT for that red to green move here. Basically we're just gonna see if this is something we can get back up, get back over 241 here. There's more volume coming in on the buying side. Oops, that's looking weak. So we'll probably sell here. If it doesn't get back up there, we'll look to sell. Let's see if 229 can get taken out here. There you go. Again, I got in at 239. We're just seeing if we can get back over 240 here. It might, if we basically clear 240 properly. There you go. 250. So now we might get a squeeze. We'll like to see 255, which is the pre-market high. That's the back of the mine target here. There you go. There you go. Now we're running. See if we can take out 259 here. There you go. I'll probably bail out as soon as we go over 259 here. Come on, keep pushing, keep pushing. Okay, I bailed out. Basically break even here, guys. Just because I didn't like this candle getting pushed this down, that it felt like it might just get a hard rejection. Yeah, I didn't like this long wick here. So we'll see what happens here. So I basically got out break even. I think I lost like $2 there. I mean, as you guys saw, it did get pushed up to it did get pushed up to 259, so I got in at 239, gets pushed over to 259. I just would have liked to see this candle closed above this pre-market high, or around that 255 area. Excuse me, around that 255 area, and then look for a push on the second candle above that for the break of that 259, because if you would have got that break of 259, guys, that's where I would have looked to sell 20 cents, and I would have been okay with that. We just didn't get that, and that's okay. As you guys can see now, it's in the 229s, just because that candle got pretty heavy there and started basically selling off, and as soon as I saw it go red, it popped up a little, and I was just like, nope, don't like it, and I bailed out. And sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes you just have to get in and move out. INNL is coming up as well. It's 245, so we might see if we can get a red to green move on this, because this is something that we could potentially get a red to green move on, and then it can open up room back to the threes on this, just because this is something that, you know, getting lots of volume. Right now, you know, we already have 4.55 million, and you know, it has pulled back, and it basically came up from, grinded up from the 196 back to that. So we'll just be watching this. NEOT, you know, now went to 220s. So obviously it was good to just get out there when I saw it getting weak, rather than waiting for this. TGC, I don't know what happened there. I think it's halted 935, 941. It should have been open by now, unless I think it's gonna open pretty soon here at 32, 941, 32. That's when it'll probably open. I'm not sure what's going on with this, but anyways, we'll be watching INNL. I want to see what happens to this. I don't know what's going on with the chart. I'm just waiting for the chart to open up here. My chart's stuck. Oh, TGC in the 138. TGC was a good play, guys. I was watching it for the break of 1, and that's where I was gonna jump in, but it just wasn't on my screens here, and I was just pulling it up, and then next thing you knew, it already broke 1 and got halted at 120. So that was a really good play that we missed out on. I don't know what's going on with my charts here. Anyways, I'm gonna pause the video, and then I'll come back once I could jump into something. Alright, I just got into INNL for the red to green move here, for the break of 245. I believe I got in at 246. Yeah, 246. So we're just gonna see if this is something that'll continue to move up. We'll like to see the break of 250 here pretty soon. If we can get that, this is looking weak. We don't want to see this candle go green or go red. It could potentially run here. If we can take out this 242 seller here. Basically, I have 10 cent stop loss on this. I got in at 246. If it goes below 236, I'll bail out. So I'll just put my stop at 235. And in case it does go down there, I'll look to bail out. See if I can get taken out at 235. Don't want to lose more than that on it. I might have to bail out on the bid here. Okay, I just sold. See, 16 cents, guys. Definitely not something I wanted. You know, 16 cents is not great. Obviously, you know, losing 16 cents on it just, we were looking for the red to green move, and we just didn't get it. Although it broke 245, it just couldn't push through. When I jumped in on that break, I guess I should have kept volume in consideration. There's not a lot of volume that came through, but yeah, I think that just wouldn't work. INNL, either it might need a bit more consolidation, might need to pull back a little, or potentially just needs to potentially that's it. It might not have enough juice in it to keep going. So we'll be just that's fine. Anyways, I'll pause the video, and then again we'll come back when something pops up. Guys, I tried jumping into CALI, CLI, right at 356 as this was curling up with a 10-cent stop loss, but it just popped over, and I couldn't jump in. I felt like it had potential, and that's where I was trying to jump in on it. Felt like if we can break this at 367 point, we could potentially see it run up. And that's what I was looking for, but we couldn't get that. Or we did, I just couldn't get in. So I'm just gonna remove this order, and then we'll see what happens here. It could have been a good play. Anyways, alright guys, I just got into CALI, basically looking for the break of 4 here. I got in at 390. We're gonna see if we can get over 398, potentially break a 4. If we break 4, we could see some lots of volume come into this. So that's what we're anticipating here. Just because it is forming, higher highs, it's moving on the trend line. And I feel like if we can get over 4 here, we could potentially see a big push on the stock. So we'll be watching it for that. Oh, that's nice. Now it breaks the trend line. Okay, obviously it has to turn around here. I don't want to see it keep dropping. Man, come on. I got out just because it broke that. So 378. I wanted to get out 380. Should have waited a couple seconds. Yeah, but I didn't like how. Okay, so this, look at this, right? So the whole time, right, it's going up on this trend line, and I got in for the break of 4. As it's hanging around this area, I'm like, okay, this looks like it's gonna break 4 here, and then as soon as I get in, it is ready to drop. It's this 3 times I tried to get in the stock. I'll show you where. Okay, so first I tried getting in at 356, then at 370, and then at 385, and then I finally ended up buying at 390, and then I ended up getting out at 378. It's just the way the world works. Okay, so I am done for today. Did my 3 trades, read on all 3. Not the way I wanted to end my Wednesday, but that's all right. I attempted to play these trades just because they felt like they were gonna have some potential, but my first 2 trades, let's just go over them real quick here. NEOT was a great trade. I got in for the red to green move because that's what lately has been working. It'll have these big whiplash downwards, and then it'll go red to green and squeeze. And that's exactly what happened on NEOT. It just didn't have enough in it to squeeze a bit more for me to get out. I wanted to I got in at 239 or 240, actually 239.99, something like that. So 240, and I wanted to basically get out at 260, 20 cents. So I was just waiting for this to basically push up. As soon as I would have seen 260, I would have basically sold. But we didn't get that. So it started getting weak, and I ended up breaking even out on it. INNL was a little tricky. I expected the same move on this as it got over the 245. The only difference between NEOT and INNL was that once this got over 240, 241 or whatever, there was lots of volume that came in. Right, the high was 240. As this was going to basically go red to green, lots of volume came in. Whereas INNL, not a lot of volume came in. Right here, not a lot of volume came in. We could have seen, we should have seen like over 500k volume coming in as this was squeezing up. But that didn't happen. This ended up looking weak, and then I basically got out at what was it, 230, 16 cents. I really need to get better at the 10-cent stop loss, but the only thing is with these stocks, I just, as this was coming down at 236, I mean, I should have just bailed out at 236 because that was the low. When below this candle, it was looking weak. I should have just got out 10 cents loss instead of a 16 cents loss. But there's nothing. I mean, hindsight looks easy, but at that time I was just kind of like, oh, it'll probably pop back up, just like what happened to NEOT. NEOT, when I got in, this candle got weak, but then I held through just because I felt like, it's just starting to pick up and it might have that squeeze, and that's exactly what I was looking for. INNL, it was like it just broke over, the next candle might have that squeeze, and it just didn't, so I ended up bailing out on that. The last one we just traded was CALI, CALI. Now CALI, I tried getting it in the 350s first of all, right here. As I put in my order at 355, that was on the bid. I was looking to get in on the bid, and as soon as I put my order, seconds later, this popped over to 380, goes all the way up to 390 basically, right? And then pulls back to this 9 EMA. And then I was like, okay, I like it. I'll probably get in the 370s for a push back to the 390, potentially 4. I put my order, didn't get in. Right over here, I placed my order. It pops over to 377, 78, and then opens at 380 and runs up towards that 395. Pulls back again, holds this 9 EMA again. It starts curling up, and I tried getting in at 380 for the push towards 390 plus, and then break of 4. Couldn't get in, so I was like, okay, I took my order off. And then this time, as it pushes 398, pulls back, and I was like, okay, if I get in here as it's holding this 5 EMA, 9 EMA would basically be my exit if it goes below that. And as soon as I got in, it just couldn't do it and started coming down, so I ended up bailing out on it. What can you do, right? I mean, sometimes you get into these stocks where they're holding, they're looking good, and then once you're in, they start turning around, and next thing you know, you're down. So I'm just watching VII, see what's VII doing. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for today. I'm gonna call it a day. Done 3 trades, all red. That's something markets are telling me. I'm gonna take that and just walk away for now. So I'm down, I think, about $60 on the day, $65 on the day. Not a great Wednesday, not the way I wanted to have my today, but that's all right. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll potentially look to get in. TGC was probably my favorite play of the day, and I wish it didn't move as fast as it did, because I definitely would have bought this $1 breakout, because I saw it as this candle was forming on my scanner, and by the time I pulled it up, it was already at 115, and I was just like, okay, no, maybe I don't want to get in there. And then it ended up getting a halt at 120, opens at 126, and runs all the way up to 155. So that could have been a good 40-50 cents potential there. If I got in for the break of 1, I probably would have got in at 500 shares, because on those I like to go a little aggressive. 500 shares opens up, I probably would have sold in the 140s. That would have been a play of the day, but just missed out on it, which is alright. So anyways, guys, have a great day. See you guys tomorrow.